I've been studying, tracking, and recording the Crown Victoria Police Interceptor selling prices here at the state of Delaware surplus auctions for quite a while now. And I bought a bunch of these cars at auction as well. And I've learned quite a few lessons during my time buying these cars. But two of the biggest lessons that I've learned is that one, there's a lot of really great deals at these surplus auctions. And two, each and every one of those cars at those auctions, they're there for a reason. Now, the state of Delaware, and I'm sure most other states, they just don't sell off these cars for no good reason. Sometimes the reason's obvious, like cosmetic problems or mechanical issues. But most of the time, what I've seen is that it takes days, weeks, or even months after buying that car and getting it home before you determine what the real issue is. For instance, two Vics that I bought last year had a rusty fuel tank that I had to replace, but I didn't know about the rusty tanks until buying the car and filling up the gas tanks for the first time. Another had a rusty floorboard that I didn't know about until it fell out of the car a week after I sold it. This Caprice I bought about 6 months ago, and just now I'm starting to hear ticking sounds from the engine when it's cold. At first, I thought it was an exhaust leak, but the more I'm reading and studying up about this car, I'm finding out that it's probably the cam and lifters. This Dodge Avenger has a ton of miles on her at 155,000 and is probably towards the end of its lifespan. So I went to the latest surplus auction last week with the mindset of trying to buy some cars, but also with the knowledge that I need to be a sleuth, right? I need to find out what the problems are with the car, why they're being auctioned off, figure out a cost estimate, and factor that into my maximum bid and try to be a winner on buying some of these cars. As an example, on this first car, she looks pretty good from a distance, but as you get closer, you can see one headlight is new while the other is cloudy. The clear coat on the doors and on the rear quarter panel got pulled off when the police stickers were removed. There's a dent in the rear bumper cover. There are 3 antenna holes in the body. Mileage was good at 128,000. The hood was out of alignment with the front fascia, which could indicate a prior accident, and which would also probably explain why the bumper was in such nice condition and it didn't have any paint chips or dings, and that new headlight as well. The real problem though was that the car wouldn't run consistently. It would stumble and buck when started, then die and struggle to restart. The check engine light was on too. This car sold for $1,900, which for me was way too much of a risk to even consider. The second car, I think, was probably the best Vic at the auction. This car was a 2010, had 127,000 miles on it. She had a whole lot of idle time at 6,400. And remember, Ford considers 1 hour of idle time to equate to about 33 miles of driving. This car had really nice paint, no obvious dings or dents, a little bit of clear coat burn on the rear trunk lid, no check engine lights, good tires all around, even a full tank of gas, and she sold for $1,900. This third car is a perfect example of being a really pretty parts car, and about having to be a sleuth too when inspecting these cars. This one is a real oddball. She's a 2011, has a ton of miles on her at 191,000. It's weird that the idle hours were only 674, when the average idle hours on these cars at auction are typically in the 4,000 to 5,000 range. There was some body damage on the driver's fender and 2 places on the driver's door. No antenna holes or spotlight holes in the body. The interior was a weird light caramel color, which is also strange because all the other dark blue cars here at the auction have charcoal interiors. It still had the Motorola controller in it, unlike every other car here. But the strangest part is that it just didn't have a driver's seatbelt. It was physically gone. It just wasn't there. It was taken out. In fact, the trim piece for that body pillar was in the back seat of the car. But somehow, with all of that, this car still went home for $1,055. So let me show you some of the other cars at the auction, what they sold for, their condition, and what I found while checking them out. So what'd you think about that third Vic, the one with 191,000 miles on it? Somebody bid that car up to $1,055, and I don't know if I would drop $1,000 on that car. What would you do? Some of those other Vics too, some of them sold for a nice amount, the right amount I think, based on their condition. Some of them were way overpriced. I'm curious what your thoughts about all those cars are. And really, that's the gist of these videos. That's why I do these, so that you see these cars, you know the condition, and you know what the selling prices are, so that when the right car comes through with the right price, you can jump on it and you make the decision and buy. So I hope these videos help you. They certainly help me. If you like what you're seeing, give me a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe, and as always, thanks so much for watching.